Hey guys, check this video out. What we're looking at here is footage of a family's home security system. This is taken in the United States, North Carolina at 1:30 in the morning. When the owners of the home woke up in the morning and they got a notification on their phone, this is the video that showed up. And what we have here is a creature walking up on 2 feet, some type of cryptoid creature. Now, the only thing I know that walks on 2 feet is a human being and probably a monkey and other animals, but we've never seen anything this small. Some people are calling this an alien. Others are calling it a mythical creature. But what could this possibly be, guys? Comment below. Don't forget to follow and repost the video. Thanks for watching, guys.
Get ready, because scientists have announced they're going to start making people.
British and American researchers, they've created the first synthetic human embryos.
Yeah, it's a terrifying prospect, and when you read about it, it feels a little bit Black Mirror-ish in a way. These synthetic human embryos were created from stem cells. They're groundbreaking for The Guardian, at least, because they required no eggs or sperm. The embryos could be crucial in determining things like genetic disorders or even perhaps treating repeated miscarriages. But as The Guardian notes, this discovery also falls beyond the realm of regulation in the UK and in most countries, so it does raise a lot of ethical issues.
When they start replacing us with clones and fake people, that's probably the end of me then. Shabadoo, Bushkis!
Ты шо? Охренеть, ни хрена. Чё это за херня такая? Трютеля тарелка по-любому. А ну приблизь еще. На месте стоит, ты ж бачишь.
А на месте, блядь, ну.
А в тепляк ничего не сыт? Ха, что не хочешь?
Con el mío sí se alcanza a ver bien, güey. Ahorita se los paso.
guarda, ma che è? Ah, si è diviso, guarda che sta. Oh, uno è volato via. Guarda, si sta a muovere. Guarda, ce n'è uno piccolo che gli gira attorno. Guarda, sta scappando via verso il lago. Guarda che storia. Mamma, che dato. Guarda, si sta a muovere. Guarda, ce n'è uno piccolo che gli gira attorno. Piccolo che gli gira attorno.
El de arriba y allí en esa otra nube, de allá. Hay varios regados. Eso mismo es una novela que va a ganar bien. Yo creo. Están aquí 2.0.
Stargates are very valuable pieces of real estate, ascension passages in and out of Mother Earth. Whoever controls the stargates controls what energy or entities can come in and out of these very valuable pieces of land. Here are the 12 planetary stargates. Stargate number 1, Arizona, USA. Stargate number 2, Sarasota, Florida. Stargate number 3, Bermuda Islands. Stargate number 4, Giza, Egypt. Stargate number 5, Machu Picchu, Peru. Stargate number 6, Caucasus Mountains, Russia. Stargate number 7, Lake Titicaca, Peru. Stargate number 8, Xi'an, China. Stargate number 9, Lhasa, Tibet. Stargate number 10, Abadan, Iran. And Q site which activates that is Iraq. He who has ears, let him hear. Stargate number 11, Vale of Pusey, England. Stargate number 12, Montségur, France.
Evo ga, Dragane. Evo ga opet ovo. Da.
So there was this ginormous blob that just appeared upon the radar with up to 83 feet waves coming from Antarctica. This massive blob just pops up out of nowhere. What is this? And this is something that is not normal. It moves up to the east coast of Africa to the Atlantic Ocean. And some videos have even popped up of waves and strong winds hitting Cape Town. Now what I'm thinking is this could potentially be the Leviathan. You know, the biblical creature. You know, it probably could be the reason why some of these animals is beaching themselves. As y'all can see, it's traveling up north. And what y'all seeing is waves. These are waves. 63-foot waves. It started off 83 feet. Waves from Antarctica. It's a lot of strange stuff that's going on. What are we looking at? But y'all let me know what y'all think about this giant blob popping up in the middle of the ocean in the comments. Like or follow for more wisdom and stay tuned.
I noticed that thing in the air. I can try to zoom in on it as best as I can, but yeah, it's not really clear what it is. It's not moving. It's kind of like suspended in midair. There is no string at all. There's no string underneath it. That's not a balloon. I don't know what that is, but you can see it. I'm going to zoom in right there underneath it. There's no string whatsoever. And this thing is literally hovering above this community.
Anaheim, California. Explain it.
What is that? It's just staying there. What the fuck is that? Look, there's a plane over here. What is that? It's just standing still there. Whoa, what is that? What the fuck? What is happening? What the hell is that? What is that? You guys, what is that? It's like a crack in the firmament. What the fuck is that? It's moving. What the fuck is that? It's not a bird. It's not a plane. You see that bird in the plane? What the fuck is that? Okay, I got my telescope. What the hell is that? You guys, what the fuck is that? That's a UFO 100%. And, hold on. Let me see if I can show you. We've got one right there. Look at that one. Yeah, it gets blurry when I zoom in. Look at that one. Okay, so what the hell is that? What the hell is that? Oh my god, we got UFO sightings. We got UFO sightings. It's happening. Holy shit. Look, it's moving. I'm keeping the camera straight, you guys. It's just because it's microscopic. It's obviously going to be like moving, or it's going to show every movement. But look at that. That's a UFO. Alright, it is. It's like moving around. Hold on, I got a little blurry. There we go. It's moving around. It's moving up the cloud. What the hell? Nobody can say that's a bird or a plane or anything. It's literally in the cloud. There's the clouds. There's the trees. It is a straight up UFO sighting. Clear as fucking day. Okay, hold on. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What's happening? What's happening? I'm trying to get to focus. Okay, birds. Birds are confirming. Oh, shit. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. It changed. Hold on. It like changed. Whoa, look at that. It knows it's watching. I'm watching it. It knows. It's like, okay, look at it. Look how tiny it got. Look how tiny it got. Wow, it's shining. Dude, I'm telling you, they're for real coming. They are for real coming. Look at that, look at that. Like, now it's got like a sharp end. I wish I could focus. Wow, what the fuck? Look at it moving up. Thank you so much, you guys, for giving me this footage. Like, I love you so much. Look at that, look at that. What the fuck is that? It's shining. They know I'm watching it. They know I'm recording. That's why they're being so obvious. It's now moving up above the cloud. Wow, it is shooting up. What the heck, you guys? Look at this. Wow, this is so fucking awesome. This is so cool. You've got a plane there. Okay. We've got a plane over here somewhere if I can catch it. Where are you? Okay, I can't catch it. But anyway, back to this thing. There it is. There it is. Silver. It's like silver and black. It's showing me. I bet you nobody is seeing this. Nobody is spotting this. Oh shit, look at another little white one underneath it. Wow. This is too cool. That's what the Super Bowl was all about, you guys. I can't stop looking at it. Like, how often do you get a chance to see a UFO right in front of you like this? Floating in the sky. This is so fucking cool. Now it's shooting up. I got a plane coming somewhere. There it is. Okay, hold on. It's like... Okay, why are you blurry? Hold on. Okay. Where'd you go? Where did you go? There you are. Focus. There we go. Look at that. What the hell? You guys can't tell me. Y'all can't tell me nothing. That's a damn UFO right in front of my freaking face. Right in front of my freaking face. Let's go, baby. Let's go. I'm ready. I'm ready, bitches. I'm ready. Are y'all ready for it? Are you ready for this? Bro. Bro, this is trippy. God, look. It's white now. Look, it's shifted. Oh, okay. You guys gonna make it blurry? Hold on. Look at it. It's like silver now. I'm trying to focus the telescope. Y'all, what is that? Floating in the sky. There's no logical explanation except for a UFO. How fucking cool is that? I can't even see it right now in person. I'm somehow... Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay, it's floating towards a cloud. There it is, yeah. It's floating towards a cloud. Uh-oh. And it's gone. Oh my god, that was awesome.
Gateway process. A term that might sound straight out of a science fiction novel or a conspiracy theory form. But it's far more real and intriguing than one might imagine. Imagine a world where you could transcend the confines of reality. Travel through space and time with just the power of your consciousness. In 1983, Lieutenant Colonel Wayne McDonald submitted a groundbreaking report titled Analysis and Assessment of Gateway Process to U.S. Army Intelligence. This report was no ordinary military briefing. It detailed a revolutionary method for achieving out-of-body experiences, all in the pursuit of intelligence gathering. The Gateway Process isn't your typical military strategy. It's a mind-bending journey that involves participants projecting their consciousness beyond the constraints of our perceived reality. Developed by the Monroe Institute in the 1970s, this process combines brainwave synchronization techniques with specific sound frequencies to induce altered states of consciousness. What exactly does the Gateway Process offer? According to McDonald's report, participants can potentially traverse the universe, visiting any location and time period imaginable. It challenges the very fabric of our understanding of reality, suggesting that our universe is but a construct of the mind, Delving deeper, the report explores holographic theory, proposing that the universe is a complex interplay of energy fields. It theorizes that human consciousness can transcend physical limitations and exchange information with other dimensions, potentially reshaping reality itself through a process known as patterning. But with great power comes great responsibility and risk. While proponents of the gateway process tout enhanced self-awareness, creativity, and clarity as potential benefits, there are darker shadows lurking in the depths. Reports of intense anxiety, depression, and even psychosis among participants serve as cautionary tales. Colonel MacDonald himself warned of encounters with non-friendly entities beyond the boundaries of time and space. The missing page, 25 of the CIA's Gateway Report, later released by the Monroe Institute, only adds to the mystery and speculation surrounding the process.
Started here, and then he flew and curved down this way. That's just the beginning of it. Oh, here's another one right here. You see him? Flying right over our heads. Pointing it right at him. And now he's turning.
Ooh,
yeah.
Flashed.
Yeah, you see him?
Yeah, it just flashed.
I'm lasering at him, and he's curving.
Music of the Spheres from 1492. We are given a map that combines the principles of harmony, mathematical ratios, and cosmic order. Apollo sits at the top and conducts the music of the spheres, with each planet represented by circles and ruled by one of the muses. Each planet is associated with a musical interval or note, and together they form a cosmic scale.
It's sound that creates magnetic fields. And moving magnetic fields create electricity. It's in that order that creation seems to happen. So we don't live in an electromagnetic universe, we live in a magneto-electric universe. So magnets give off sound. We all know what speakers are. So there you go, you got electricity, it comes out of a plug, runs down a wire, it goes into a speaker, a magnet, the magnet reacts, and the magnet makes the air move and creates sound. And the reverse is possible as well. It works one way and it works the other way. And this is where we start getting into the real understanding of some of the masters. Everything manifests as a torus in a toroidal field, and including sound. And this is what sound looks like when it manifests as a toroidal field. Sound, just like everything else, manifests as a toroidal field, as a torus. And this is why when our hearts beat, we create a toroidal field around our body. And that toroidal field creates an electromagnetic field around our body. And so it goes. This is what the toroidal fields look like, or that are created by the sounds we make when we speak. And phenomenal research and work has been done to show us what the different toroidal shapes and fields look like of different letters and different sounds, especially vowels. And then as we speak, these toroidal fields that we manufacture and we create with our mouth.
Oliver's Castle, Wiltshire, 1989.
There's a couple of lights down there somewhere.
This controversial film appears to show strange objects hovering above a cornfield. Below, complex circle formations appear.
is that being eclipsed right there? Somebody tell me. Because right above that is the moon. Right here. That's the moon right there. So it ain't the moon being eclipsed. It's something out in the sky being eclipsed that is here. Everything is here right now. And y'all can keep playing. I know you Christians are listening to me. Idolatry.
Woman in her 80s has a very close encounter with a UFO in Baja California. These are some of the images she captured from what she claims was a UFO. She also claims that there was fire around the craft and they were in a pair of 6. While the other 5 disappear, one of them stayed in front of her. She said she could see glowing beings inside the craft.
So if you're in Scottsdale right now, near McDowell and Hayden Road, you're gonna see this thing in the sky. We don't know what it is. It'd be cool if we did. If you do, please leave a comment to say exactly what the hell I'm looking at.
Into the frame came something else. It flew into the frame like this, and it shot a beam of light at the warhead, which is represented by my thumb here. Now, remember, all this stuff is flying at several thousand miles an hour. So this thing fires a beam of light at the warhead, hits it, and then this thing flies up like this. Meanwhile, we're all going like this, fires another beam of light, goes around like this, we're going like this, fires another beam of light, goes down like this, fires another beam of light, and then flies out the way it came in. And the warhead tumbles out of space. Now, I saw that. I don't give a goddamn what anybody else says about it. I saw that on film. Phil Klass can kiss my ass. He wasn't there. I was. Now, when the lights came on, Major Mansman turned around and looked at me and said, "Were you guys screwing around up there?" And I said, "No, sir." And he said, "What was that?" And I said, "It looks to me like we got a UFO."
In March 2011, the world was shaken by a massive earthquake in Japan that caused widespread destruction and devastation. But the earthquake also triggered a mysterious event at a nuclear power plant in Fukushima. After the accident, 10 strange objects appeared in the sky above the damaged reactor and hovered over the site for several hours before disappearing into the night. The UFOs were there for a reason. It's well known that UFOs have a keen interest in our nuclear technology, and the Fukushima incident may have caught their attention. Were they there to monitor the situation, or perhaps to intervene in some way?
Bro, I know y'all see this. What the fuck is going on? This is in Arizona, y'all. I don't know what's going on. Sorry for my language. I don't know what's going on. Look at all this stuff. You see this shit in the sky?
They're circling.
They're circling literally.
Something.
They are circling literally. They are circling literally. What is this? Somebody please tell me. I don't know what this is.
There's something at the bottom too.
A color sound frequency started emanating from all the black holes in the known universe. It's happening on all the levels. This is the Andromedan perspective. This color sound frequency was creating a brand new holographic template over the entire density mass of our universe. Now, apparently, within that holograph, there were conscious beings. The A's do not know who they are, but those that they're talking to, their mentors from higher evolution or higher densities, have said that they have the ability to be at their level, this 12th density, and look directly down through all the densities. That they have this ability. It is said that this template is literally pulling all of the dimensions up to another higher frequency. And what we're going through here with shifts, with new dimensional shifts, with higher frequencies, with expanded consciousness, so are the other extraterrestrial races. They're going through the exact same thing as we are, but it's different for them. Okay, they're a much more aware consciousness. They probably have not suppressed any of the technology from their people, so they know what's happening. And they are all moving together because of the law of consistency. They are all moving together. They all have the same similar goal, and that's of evolution, okay? Spiritual evolution, and moving together as a race, as a family. They're coming back here to try to help mentor us for that because of who we are, whether we're Patal or not. Okay, we are genetic royalty. I have absolutely no doubt about that. And that in itself is remarkable, especially when you consider when we've lived on this planet, everything that we've been taught about who we are. Religions have punished us profoundly. Science says we're just a pool of chemicals that was created by a mistake. It's remarkable. But we're none of that. We're absolutely none of that. And my guess is that we had this planned all along. We planned this struggle all along to grow, to evolve, to make a statement to the rest of the universe. Okay, I want to share, in their words, some of the things that they've shared with me. I'm going to talk about consciousness. The most necessary action for all of your Terran races who are aware is to do what you are capable of to illuminate your degenerated societies. Consciousness is your scale. It always provides balance, which does not ever fail. It speaks to those who listen and tells them what to do and what not to do. Not to one or all beings who choose to be evolved. The administrators of your government are responsible for professional order, but not your moral codes of order. The key to your happiness, Terrans, is in the hands of your own consciousness. We have perceived that you Terrans have arranged your lives not according to yourselves, but according to others. Your disappointments are due to this fact. This kind of conduct of yours is what is limiting your races. Each one of you is a free soul, a free consciousness. No one is the servant or slave of anyone else, though the hidden ones would trick you to believe otherwise. Mutual respect is imperative for a healed planet and race. Our help is being extended to you if you so want it. Because of your genetic lineages to our races, we would like to be there with you during your difficult times. Today, your planet and your race destroys itself in ignorance. The goal is to recover the genuine human beings lost deep within yourselves, and try to always be at one with yourself. I'm really out of sorts here. Okay. I'm going to share this with you. This is from Mornay. This is from 1998. He makes reference to December 3rd, 2013. That was the original number that they felt that, or the original date on our calendar that we would actually be moving into fifth density, that date. All of us, regardless of our form or our dimensional growth, live in a boundless consciousness. It does appear that all things seem to revolve and evolve in cycles. Now, after the blindness of 5,725 years, you and your Terra are about to regain yourselves. It will be such an unprecedented change that it will be difficult for many to grasp their own potential. It is the turning point on your world which none of your planet's forefathers were privileged to ever experience. Can I have just some light? Please, any light, any light. Yeah, the ceiling light, thank you. Okay, that's good. Thank you. That helps me. In Andromeda, one of the things that they stress is creating a race of leaders. In that leadership, everyone has a responsibility to not only be a leader themselves, but to make a leader of everyone else. And in that, everybody moves together. There may be varying different degrees, but everybody moves together. This is something that they have stressed over and over and over again. They've also stressed being as close to nature as possible. You folks here in Hawaii, that's really easy. And you live in an incredible place. For those of us who live on the mainland or in other countries, in big cities, it's much more difficult. I want you to know that we're the only planet that I'm aware of that uses currency. Okay? In fact, I had an experience where Mornay and Faseas had asked me to try to explain to them why we used money, or what they refer to as paper with pictures on it. So I spent a great deal of time in between contacts putting something together for them. And I had a contact. I was living in Malibu at the time up on Decker Canyon, and I had this opportunity to present this information to them. So as I'm presenting it, I'm going through it. I had a paper with me that I was reading it off and had little charts that I'd carried in my backpack. And when it was all over, and of course they already knew this information because they've been watching our history, Faseas said, thank you very much. I mean, Mornay said, thank you very much. I enjoyed it. But Faseas just looked at me, and he just had a very straight face. And he just said, I don't understand. And I said, well, what do you not understand? Now, Faseas was always telepathic. He never learned to use his vocal cords. He said, I don't understand why you have to live why you have to pay to live on a planet you were born on. Why do you have to pay to live on a planet you were born on? That haunted me for many years, that statement. Because, you know, how do we unravel that? You know, what do we create in order to drop that paradigm? And how do we...
This is the video, it's called a Comburgus video, which is a close-up of a craft, so close that you can see the occupants. It is 100% real, and I was there as that was filmed.
The whole footage has been analyzed for a more scientific board for 2.5 weeks. Frame by frame, pixel by pixel, and this is 100% genuine footage.
The only hardcore thing is that there is an extremely classified document dealing with religion, and it's about that thick. Period. But why would there be any classified material dealing with religion?
I want to go back to the religion thing. I want you to say it.
It's so far out.
All right, your objection has been noted.
Okay.
What does it say?
That we're containers. That's how supposedly the aliens look at us. That we are nothing but containers.
Containers of? Containers.
Maybe containers of souls. You can come up with whatever theory you want, but we're containers. And that's how we're mentioned in the documents. That religion was specifically created so we have some rules and regulations for the sole purpose of not damaging the containers.
Ya Allah. Ya Allah. Ya Allah. Ya Allah. Ya Allah.
This happened. I'm sorry.
What is that?
There's a passenger on the plane, looks out the window, grabs the phone. This was filmed in June. The traveler sees that, an object apparently changing shapes in seconds. Oh. Is it a shape-shifting object? Is it Bezos? Is it Branson? What is it? Is it a UFO?
Mel, go for it. What do you see?
I have no. Okay, I'm looking at this for the first time. I want it to be surprised. Whoa!
What was that?
No way.
Oh, that's crazy.
So, no, man.
அருட்பெருஞ்சோதி அருட்பெருஞ்சோதி தனிப்பெருங்கருணை அருட்பெருஞ்சோதி 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 ஐயா போதும் போய்.
Hey, bro. What the fuck is that? Hold on. Let me hurry the fuck up. What the fuck was that? What the fuck is that?
Yeah, is there any active military airspace just like north of Winnipeg?
No, nothing I'm aware of. You said north of Winnipeg?
Yeah.
No, not right now.
Okay. Lots of active bright lights, information, 3, and they look like they're at like 500 or something, just trying to figure it out.
Okay, yeah, no, I haven't heard anything. I'll check ahead with the next sector. And you said around 50,000 feet, roughly, is that correct?
Yeah, it looks like it. I mean, it's hard to say, but yeah, it keeps being like 3 to 4 really bright lights, and they kind of were in like a triangle formation, and then it looks like the little dipper for a bit, and then they disappear, and then they come back.
Okay, okay, thanks for that. I'll just make a note, but yeah, I can't think of what that might be.
Okay.
Yeah, check Canada 7086. Do you guys see these lights at 12 o'clock? See something flashing light around 11:30, Star 600. Yeah, forming triangles and then flying away and coming back. Big bright light that's coming towards us, slightly above us, Star 600. More or less 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock, Star 600. Take from Canada 7086. Do you have any traffic out there?
No, I had one other report 10 minutes ago from a Morningstar flight east of Regina. Reported the same thing. Her best guess was around somewhere around flight level 500, and thought it might be somewhere north of Winnipeg. So yeah, do you have a guess as to what you might think the altitude is?
Hard to tell, just because the evening, I'd say she's probably pretty accurate, but they keep forming up in a triangle, and then it's pretty odd.
Star 600, good morning, and are you still seeing those lights that you were reporting earlier?
Yeah, it's quite bizarre. There's around 6 of them just randomly doing the formation flight at high altitude at 12 o'clock, flight 600.
Okay, thanks.
Winnipeg Center for Flare 600.
Go ahead.
Just curious, when it comes to those lights that you have multiple aircraft reporting, what reports do you guys have to file for that?
Usually we just tell the shift manager, and then they follow up with whatever reporting they do.
Okay, so you're not reporting a UFO then?
Report exactly what the pilot said to the shift manager, and then they'll file it as they do.
Roger. Okay, thanks.
Definitely not satellite. UPS 104, I just got here for the morning, so I'm just finding out about all the reports, but I guess they've been all the way across the prairies this morning, or overnight. Okay, yeah, it's like, unlike anything I've ever seen in like the 15 years of night flying that I've done. Okay, thanks very much.
Above us. So everything is as above, so below. Obviously, many people are becoming aware that there's a firmament above that many people are now starting to realize is impenetrable.
No matter what you do, you can't go straight up in the air and keep going.
An interesting rocket launch was the amateur Go Fast rocket. They gave us something that NASA and SpaceX never gives us, an uninterrupted feed from their camera. If you watch a NASA launch or a SpaceX launch, there's 4, 5, 6 cuts before it even clears the launch pad. Gave us an uninterrupted 72 miles, I think. Went up, and all of a sudden it went kerplunk. It hit something.
It went up, and it appears to have hit the firmament.
One thing I really want your generation to embrace is that the Earth is a closed system. We cannot leave the Earth.
There's no place to go.
I'm sorry, the government knows about them, and there's a lot of safe areas in this world that they could begin moving the population to now, Art.
But they're not doing anything.
They are not. They want the major population centers wiped out so that the few that are left will be more easily controllable.
Discharge.
I started getting...
Six years prior to the release of Toy Story,
Pixar released a short film called Knick-Knack. They showed you hot location after hot location, where all the knickknacks have on sunglasses. Then they take you to a land far away towards the edge of the shelf. They call it Nome, Alaska, but they make the pun Nome, Sweet Nome, showing you that this is your home. This character is not wearing sunglasses because he's at the edge of the world, where the sun barely reaches, the coldest place on Earth, Antarctica. He finds the edge, just like we did in Operation Deep Freeze. Then he proceeds to drill, just like they did in Russia. Then he tries to blow it up, just like we did over the Pacific Ocean. Again, symbolizing the edge of the known world. And what was the name of the operation we were trying to explode the firmament? Operation Fishbowl. And we see here how if he actually did escape from his home sweet home, beyond the firmament, he would be in water. Pixar obviously got the attention of Walt Disney in this short little film, because Disney Studios has released every single Pixar movie. After all, Disney Studios filmed Operation Deep Freeze, and Walt Disney is an honorary member because he was there when they found the firmament of heaven and where it meets the earth. This is commemorated in his logo of the Magic Kingdom, depicting a firmament and a tower whose top would reach unto heaven.
At this video. This is a video shot by a local who was standing on the front lawn of his beach house near Langley Air Force Base across the water, filming on the evening of December 14th, right after sunset. He was watching what was meant to be that night's meteor shower. He says that around 7:15 he began to see red blinking lights from the direction of Virginia Beach coming in high and circling north of Langley Air Force Base, heading west and then passing directly over the base, heading east and back in the direction they came. It began as one or two coming every few minutes, and at its peak, he said, I would say there would be upwards of 5 over the base that would sometimes stop and hover directly over the base. This witness says they were always blinking from white to reddish orange. The blinking wasn't uniform, and these weren't planes. The lights were not on the ends of wings or rotors. They were round orbs of light. He's very clear on that point, this witness.
So yes, I was at a residence up on the southern side of the James River at about 7 p.m. on Thursday, December 14th. The sun was just going down for the evening, and it was supposed to be a meteor shower that night. So I was there, just planning on watching that. Directly across from me is Fort Eustis, then Newport News, and then Langley is off in the distance as well. But I began to see, right after the sun went down, I began to see these reddish-orange blinking lights that started coming from the southeast of me, crossing the James River. They began 1, 2, 3 at a time, kind of almost in a conveyor belt fashion. They would go north of Langley Air Force Base. It was what it appeared to me, which was about, I would say, 11 or 12 miles away, and then head towards the west, past it. But then they would kind of slowly turn and then go straight back over where I perceived where the base would be. It kind of confirmed to me that it was Langley when I would sometimes see a searchlight that would start flashing from the ground and kind of wave back and forth, never really focusing on any of them as they went past, but just kind of like just waving back and forth. The orbs, I would say, looked about car-sized. I mean, just from that distance. And they kept a very steady pace until they got over that location, in which they would start hovering over the base.
I don't know why that's happening right now.
I saw this video this morning, and I've done some welding in the past, and I really find this video to be extremely creepy. You definitely wouldn't be able to see something like this looking through a welder's mask, but I gotta say, what the girl was able to capture in this video is extremely terrifying. If you pay attention to the video, you can see there's actually rings around the sun, and there is something that looks like a UFO on the side. Let's watch a little bit of the video, and let me know what you guys think in the comments. Also, don't forget to follow and like so you can continue watching my videos, and that's going to help me out tremendously. Thank you guys.
What is happening right now? I'm just putting my phone on the welding mask, so I don't know if it's like electromagnetic energy coming at us right now, being pulsed. That is so weird. Is the sun pulsing energy at us?
Crop circles. These elaborate designs appear mysteriously swirled into crops of grain in such a way that the stalks are bent over, yet remain alive. One of the most amazing crop designs is not a circle, but a rectangle that seems to be a direct response to a message sent out into space in 1974. The message was a radio signal depicting our planet's location in our solar system and Earth's people, in hopes that it might be received and interpreted by an extraterrestrial intelligence. 27 years later, in 2001, this crop design appeared in England, along with what could be a self-portrait of the sender. This message matches the format of the NASA signal and describes a different solar system from ours, a picture of the sender, non-human DNA, and a microwave antenna they apparently use to communicate, rather than the radio antenna that we use. The antenna symbol had appeared a year earlier in exactly the same field, right next to a working radio wave antenna, like the one NASA used to send out the original signal. NASA continues to officially deny extraterrestrial contact of any kind.
planet Earth, there are 12 primary stargates. Stargates are frequency modulating zones, ascension passages, very valuable pieces of real estate on Mother Earth. Whoever controls the primary stargates controls the energy, the entities, the frequency that can come in that of Mother Earth. If you charge a certain stargate with a certain energy, underneath the earth, the crystals, giant crystals technology goes up and it charges the ley lines or the brain of Mother Earth. So many of the wars fought on Mother Earth on planet, you might think that it's for oil, but it's actually Stargate number 10 in the Middle East. You might think, you know, for example, Egypt, Stargate number 4. So these are very valuable pieces of real estate, and Earth is Universal Stargate number 3. 3, 6, 9, 12. The way out is the same way we came in.
Yo, while everything is going around the world, all these weather anomalies are going around the world, the ice in North Pole has completely melted, and in Greenland they found a huge 200-mile UFO.
How many of you know about the object in Greenland? A couple of you, okay. Well, for those of you that don't know, there is a spacecraft that has melted out of the ice in Greenland. As you know, the North Pole has melted completely. You can go from London to Moscow or through Russia by going over the North Pole now. All the ice cap is gone. The last place that has ice on it was Greenland. Greenland had a 18,000-foot ice cap on it. Well, the spacecraft that is anchored in the center of Greenland created the last ice age 50,000 years ago. It's a weather machine. It's 55 miles wide, 300 miles long, and 2 miles high. People that lived in it were called the Moys. You draw a straight line from the spacecraft to the Washington Monument in Washington, D.C., through the Yucatan Peninsula, Great Pyramid, and Mitsubishi, that ends up on Easter Island where the Moys have been dug out of the earth. The heads on Easter Island? Well, 2 years ago, they finally went ahead and they excavated, and they're all 65 to 85-foot people, full-body Charlies. And these were the people that lived in the spacecraft that was uncovered that's melting out of the ice in Greenland. So when you think we've been alone, these people have been up there for 50,000 years. The spacecraft is still active after 50,000 years. It has a 200-mile dampening field where no electrons can flow into it. In 1947, a B-52 bomber flew into that pattern, into the dampening field, when trying to fly between Maine and London. As a result of that, they lost power and crashed in Greenland. As they sent in rescue B-52 bombers to rescue them, they hit that same dampening field, but they veered off. They just ricocheted off of it. By testing, trying to get to these guys, they were able to bring a circumference and find out that there was an object 200 miles to the center of this field. On the southwest corner of Greenland, there is a small community. It's the only community on the island of Greenland. That community is a military post, CIA, that uses a compressed air generator to operate diesel engines to run a Caterpillar to run back and forth 200 miles from the base to the object in Greenland. A lot of our technology comes from the reverse engineering of the spacecraft. It is still functional and it's still in operation. So it's pretty important what this thing is. All the nations worldwide are up there with the United Nations. They're all backing and working together. The point is that we're not alone out here in this universe.
I completely apologize for the music, but that music was already there and I couldn't remove it. Could this be the reason why where all these weather anomalies are happening as well? Because again, the weather has been weird, and then they find this 300-mile long wide machine that created the ice age 50,000 years ago, and now all the ice is melting. What is going on, y'all? And the weather is literally acting up. I really don't know what to make of it, but you know, now things are just getting weird. Things are amping up, you know, especially with the weather and nature. What do you guys think was going on? Please let us know down in the comments below. Like, share, and follow for more videos like this, y'all. You already know what to do. Keep up on me on my other accounts, especially on my YouTube, where I go deeper on the esoteric level of these topics at hand. Let's get this shift, y'all. Peace in.
Okay, these aliens are getting out of hand. Like, is this a disco party? Like, what is going on? I hate it gonna say it's Project Bluebeam or Project X, whatever y'all be saying.
Look at that, girl. Look at that, Harry. See it? It's falling from the sky. Like it came out of space. Where'd it go?
Well, this is something strange that happened in the Dominican Republic just recently. A group of people were praying, and out of nowhere, a group of glowing white creatures started to appear. Notice how these creatures are glowing so bright? Some people are actually claiming that this could be angels, but as they appear, they disappear very quickly, according to the villagers there. Let's watch the video and let me know what you guys think. It seems like there were about 100 of them, so many of them, and everybody was really shocked to see them. Let's watch the video.
Yo, I don't know what's going on, but look, it's just a sidewalk full of birds. They're not even moving. Some are alive. That one just flew up to the window, but he's not even moving. But there's just a sidewalk full of dead freaking birds. I don't know what's going on, but I'm about to get the hell out of here.
It's a gorgeous sunset across Western New York. At 9:45, we stop it. Now I'm going to get right in the way. This appears through the clouds. Watch what happens, because it moves pretty quick. I'll get out of the way. Comes at us and goes over. What do you think that was?
What is it? There's another one, it looks like.
Well, that's a planet. Oh. So you don't got to worry about that. That
All
just
right.
keeps going down. But the one that kind of whizzes,
Yeah.
I'm thinking
What is it?
that. I'll repost that one because I don't know what happened there. Anyway, it was a pretty cool sight to see this evening.
Okay, what the fuck is this thing? There's an airplane next to a fucking... I don't know what the fuck. There it is. What the fuck is that? That's a motherfucking UFO.
Good evening, friends.
In just a few minutes, the lights will be dimmed, so you may fully experience our nighttime spectacular.
Just look at this map from the 1500s. This was the Americas, and not only the massive trees, but the castles, already there in 1500. And yes, the massive trees. The trees that we are told to dismiss what our eyes see as nothing more than just coincidence, a trick of your eyes, that all these strikingly close similarities to these ancient formations' much smaller counterparts are just some form of pareidolia, and they're actually all volcanoes. Volcanoes spewing perfect hexagonal columns, just like the cell walls of a tree. But history and geology, like the two political systems, are the wings of the same bird. That same bird that is the system that binds us. Those bindings are the links of endless lies that form this system of control we're in today. If it was just giant trees, why would they lie to us? What's the purpose? The answer is there isn't really much. But you must think bigger than these trees that once soared miles into the heavens. Because compared to all the lies, the twists and perversions of truth, these ancient trees are mere saplings. But I hope with this channel that all the seeds of truth, all the...
Actually, CERN is dealing with radionuclear research. But it is more than that, because there are lots of physicians, I know some, they're doing very strange experimentation. There are beings from portals coming in and out. It's physicists from the CERN who told me this.
They've testified to beings coming in and out of portals.
Yes. They have apparently in the bottom of the CERN this portal, this door where they are dealing with all the subatomic dimensions. They say there are 17 different dimensions of reality. That's what those physicists say. Some others say there are more dimensions, And now, when you look at what is going on in the CERN, there is a fight from some of the military agencies, Intel. They say that there is a fight on time. They're trying to change time.
Diverse, and was one of the 12 planets in the galaxy selected to act as living library or storehouse. It was then thousands of races also journeyed here under the protection and rule of Queen Tiamat, from all over to seed different plant and animal species. Octopus, mushrooms, orchids, lions and canines, etc. Many of them stayed for a while, delighting in the rich lushness of Tiamat. The dragon queen Tiamat herself helped seed life and created a giant androgynous humanoid race called the Namlu-U to act as guardians of the living library on Tiamat, which would one day be a piece of planet Earth. The Namlu-U were the race that the ancient Greeks called the Titans, the giants that were the parents of the gods, meaning a race of 50 to 60 foot tall humanoids who existed here before the Anunnaki arrived. This era of peace and harmony would last throughout the galaxy for approximately 5.5 million years, until the next great war, known as the War in Heaven. A group of 15 royal bloodlines from Orion, known for their dark and violent history, took refuge on Maldek, exacerbating the planet's decline. These beings, possessing powerful multidimensional capabilities and various avatars, influenced Maldek's inhabitants, descendants of a defeated reptoid lineage from Earth, towards self-serving ideals, technological reliance, and control, further spiraling the planet into decay. This shift towards aggression led to threats against peaceful Martians, escalating to demands for Mars to surrender its territory or face conquest. The conflict drew in aid from the Pleiadians, summoned by Martian appeals, which Maldek interpreted as provocation, leading to a violent clash. Maldek used advanced electromagnetic gravitic technology against Mars, deploying toxic chemical bombs that devastated the Martian atmosphere and population, with survivors fleeing to Sirius, the Pleiades, or Earth. In retaliation, the Pleiadians attacked Maldek, causing its leaders to disastrously increase their energy grid's power. This action led to Maldek's destruction, forming the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter and fragmenting the souls of its inhabitants. These soul fragments, along with those of the Martians, sought refuge on Earth, joining its diverse soul population. Before Maldek's destruction, the 15 Orion leaders escaped to Atlantis, 52,000 years in the past, intending to influence Earth's history. However, the Pleiadians countered by imposing a third density matrix to trap the Orion group and stabilize the situation, integrating the traumatized souls from Maldek and Mars into Earth's reincarnation cycle. These events have shaped Earth's history, with the Orion group merging with other influential factions to form what is known as the Cabal, while some Pleiadians work towards assisting Earth's evolution beyond the third density matrix. Sanat Kumara, leading a group from Venus, established the 5D city of Shambhala above the Gobi Sea to stabilize Earth's situation, later creating a 4D city beneath it. Working with Pleiadians and evolved Martians, they aided the traumatized souls from the Maldek-Mars war, incarnating as primitive hominids with reduced psychic abilities. The group of humans from the Pleiades who had settled here about 17.5 million years before and who were also living at the fourth density, most of Agartha is 4D territory, had already established a city underground, and they welcomed the Nakaals and also assisted with the construction. Then the Nakaals began. Together with the Pleiadian group and the more highly evolved Martians who had escaped the destruction of their planet's atmosphere in their light bodies, they began helping the traumatized souls of all those who had perished in the Maldek-Mars war, who were hovering around Tiamat, later known as Earth, in a great cloud, waiting to incarnate here. These poor souls were so traumatized and fragmented. They had lost all their psychic abilities and Akashic memory, and were barely sentient. They incarnated into the third density matrix as primitive hominids, the genus we know as Homo habilis. The active DNA was reduced to 2 strands, with the 10 other strands existing only as potential. The different soul families, each of which was comprised of shards from a previously intact single soul, incarnated into different tribes. Essentially, one tribe and one soul family. One shattered Maldekian or Martian soul. To this day, many of the souls who inhabit current...
You probably wouldn't believe this if we didn't show you. Here's out our balcony. It's about 10 o'clock at night. It's almost dark. It's amazing. You can see the moon shining and reflecting brilliantly on the water. Then as you pan to the left, it's actually some daylight over here. Sunset. Look at that view. And it won't ever completely settle over there. It will stay light. Over here. Moon rising up.
Bob Exler. Bob is a former NASA mission specialist. Bob, we're going to see some footage very shortly with sightings, what are allegedly UFOs. But from your point of view, what is the single most convincing piece of evidence that you've come across that convinces you that we have been visited?
Well, I started out extremely skeptical about this whole thing. I thought this was just rubbish from the tabloids, but I was surprised to find thousands of U.S. government documents from intelligence agencies that tended to indicate that there was a little bit more to this than met the eye. So I went to seek guidance from the various highest levels of the United States intelligence community, and I was quite alarmed at what I was able to learn.
Now, we are, in this report that we're now going to show, we're going to hear a conversation featuring you. Tell me the context of that conversation.
Well, I had contacted Admiral Bobby Ray Inman, who was the head of the National Security Agency in the United States, Deputy Director at CIA, Director of Naval Intelligence, and a variety of intelligence posts, a technologist, and clearly someone that if this was really accurate, that there really were UFOs and non-human intelligence around, this is a man who had to know. So I was able to contact him thanks to a contact through Admiral Lord Hill Norton here in the UK. And this conversation, he alarmingly not only indicated that these issues were covered under national secrecy laws, but that the United States government did in fact have possession of the hardware associated with this. In other words, this was an actual physical phenomenon. As
a craft, a spaceship.
Several of them, and they were in operational condition, which I assume suggested that they had been in contact, that they had been given these craft for some reason or another, because they certainly weren't crashed vehicles.
Okay. Well, is there anyone out there? Sue Wheatfield reports.
Houston, this is Discovery. We still have the alien spacecraft under observance.
Since 1947, when the term unidentified flying object was first coined, the American government is believed to have had more than a passing interest in UFOs. There have even been reports they've seized alien aircraft for secret testing, but it's never been confirmed. Now, for the first time, comments made by a former military intelligence chief seem to imply that at least some of the rumors could be true.
Do you anticipate that any of the recovered vehicles would ever become available for technological research outside of the military circles?
10 years ago, the answer would have been no.
Yeah.
Whether as time has evolved, they're beginning to become more open on it, is a possibility.
A short time later, Bob Exler received this call.
Mr. Exler, this is Tom King in Admiral Inman's office. Yes, you would be breaching confidence and/or violation of the secrecy laws in discussing his involvement in any matter.
I heard what you said earlier, but obviously the big problem always is the pictures are never conclusive.
The pictures, yes, are not conclusive, but when you get involved in an investigation and you find the extraordinary physical evidence left behind, and you talk to the witnesses, medical doctors, officials of governments and so forth, in one of the cases that we had just seen some video from, there was a Canadian official who was actually taken on board the craft. When you subject these areas of testimony to lie detectors, polygraph exams, using the kind of technology that we have to determine whether someone's actually telling the truth or not, the results become absolutely nothing short of alarming.
Okay, if these governments, the Canadian government, the American government, if they are in possession of spacecraft, if they have made contact with aliens, why don't they tell us?
What I was able to learn is that the issue of secrecy dates back into the early 1950s, and in 1959, actually, NASA had a study conducted by the Brookings Institution in Washington, D.C., addressing the issue of whether this alarming issue of a confrontation with an extraterrestrial culture should be released to the public, this information. It was determined that there would be grave consequences for just an overt public pronouncement by government officials. So a determination...
What does that mean? We would all panic?
Well, not necessarily just panic, but the issues that it presented, not only theology, but issues involving economics, standards of monetary concerns. If you acknowledge type of technology that renders fossil fuel-related industries obsolete, yes, for example, you have grave consequences economically all the way around the world.
Of course you do. All our values are rendered worthless then, yes.
The determination was made that the only way to avoid this chaos would be through a slow indoctrination process over a matter of decades.
Okay. Well, Bob Exler, we'll talk more in depth later on in the program. You'll be back here about 8:45 this morning, so look forward to that. But for the moment, thank you.
The following video was captured by a group of tourists in India. What they record is something so far out of this world it's crazy. What looks like a group of pieces of ruins in the water. You can tell this is not natural, as these stone pieces have what seems like hieroglyphs and drawings. The question is though, what was this? Was this some sort of craft, or was this some sort of structure? Take a look at this and tell me what you think.
The government to obtain any recovered UAP material or biological remains that may have been provided to private entities in the past and thereby hidden from Congress and the American people.
The United States government has gathered a great deal of information about UAPs over many decades, but has refused to share it with the American people. That is wrong, and additionally, it breeds mistrust. We've also been notified by multiple credible sources that information on UAPs has also been withheld from Congress, which, if true, is a violation of the laws requiring full notification to the legislative branch, especially as it relates to the 4 congressional leaders, the defense committees, and the intelligence committee.
As crazy as it sounds, yes, this was in fact a real conversation that took place on the floor of the Senate on December 13th, of 2023 between Democratic Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and senior Republican Senator Mike Rounds. This conversation took place in the wake of negotiations over the bill that they both co-sponsored, the Unidentified Anomalous Phenomenon Disclosure Act of 2023. The goal of this new legislation would have created an independent board that would have been in charge of disclosing what the federal government knows about UAP, otherwise known as UFOs. The entire conversation is fascinating and also reinforces both the seriousness and the bipartisan nature that Congress has been approaching the UFO issue for the last several years, especially in the wake of last Friday, January 12th, multiple members of the House confirming they received information from the Intelligence Community Inspector General that confirms the allegations of UFO whistleblower David Grush. So take a listen to the full conversation between Senators Schumer and Rounds from last December.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I see my friend Senator Rounds is on the floor and ask him to engage in a colloquy on an important set of provisions in the NDAA that deals with transparency, trust, and government oversight. The Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena Disclosure Act that he and I co-sponsored, and portions of which we will pass in the NDAA. I say to my friend that unidentified unanimous phenomena are of immense interest and curiosity to the American people. But with that curiosity comes the risk for confusion, disinformation, and mistrust, especially if the government isn't prepared to be transparent. The United States government has gathered a great deal of information about UAPs over many decades, but has refused to share it with the American people. That is wrong, and additionally, it breeds mistrust. We've also been notified by multiple credible sources that information on UAPs has also been withheld from Congress, which, if true, is a violation of the laws requiring full notification to the legislative branch, especially as it relates to the 4 congressional leaders, the defense committees, and the intelligence committee. So the bill I worked on with Senator Rounds offered a common-sense solution. Let's increase transparency on UAPs by using a model that works, by following what the federal government did 30 years ago with the JFK Assassination Records Collection Act. They established a presidentially appointed board to review and release these records, and it was a huge success. We should do the same here with UAPs. Senator from South Dakota, I yield.
Thank you, and I thank my colleague, the Democrat leader, for the opportunity to speak to this particular issue today. This is an issue that I think has caught the attention of the American people, and most certainly the lack of transparency on the matter, which is of real interest to a lot of the folks that have watched from the outside, well, it brings together, I think, a notable parallel in the withholding of information that about items that are in the government's possession regarding, in this particular case, the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. That same approach by government in terms of the possible withholding of information brings more questions and more attention to the issue of the assassination. We wanted to take that same approach with regard to how we could dispel myths, misinformation about UAPs, about unidentified flying objects, unidentified objects that simply have come to the attention of the American people. Congress did pass legislation 30 years ago requiring the review and release of all records relating to that historic tragedy, the assassination of John Kennedy, which has led to the release of a great deal of information. The UAP Disclosure Act was closely modeled on the JFK Records Act.
Say to my colleague from South Dakota, who we've worked with as a great team on this issue and many other issues, I might add, it's beyond disappointing that the House has refused to work with us on all the important elements of the UAP Disclosure Act during the NDAA conference. But nevertheless, we did make important progress. For the first time, the National Archives will gather records from across the federal government on UAPs and have a legal mandate to release those records to the public if appropriate. This is a major, major win for government transparency on UAPs, and it gives us a strong foundation for more action in the future.
I agree, sir, and I think probably the most significant shortcomings that I think we need to visit about as well, shortcomings of the Conference Committee agreement that are now being voted on, were the rejection, first of all, of a government-wide review board composed of expert citizens, presidentially appointed and Senate confirmed, to control the process of reviewing the records and recommending to the President what records should be released immediately or postponed, and a requirement as a transparency measure for the government to obtain any recovered UAP material or biological remains that may have been provided to private entities in the past and thereby hidden from Congress and the American people. We are lacking oversight opportunities, and we are not fulfilling our responsibilities.
Well, I'd like to echo what my friend Senator Rounds has said today and on many occasions. It's essential we keep working on our proposal to create an independent presidentially appointed review board that can oversee UAP classified records and create a system for releasing them where appropriate to the public. Again, as the Senator has said, it's the same method used for the JFK records, and it continues to work to this very day. It is really an outrage the House didn't work with us on adopting our proposal for a review board, which, of course, by definition here is bipartisan in the Senate. Now it means that declassification of UAP records will be largely up to the same entities that have blocked, obfuscated their disclosure for decades. We will keep working. I want to assure the American people, Senator Rounds and I will keep working to change the status quo. And before I yield finally to him, I'd like to just acknowledge my dear friend, the late Harry Reid, a mentor who cared about this issue a great deal. So he's looking down and smiling on us, but he's also importuning us to get the rest of this done, which we will do everything we can to make happen.
I agree with my friend and colleague. To those who think that the Citizen Review Board that would have been created in our UAP Disclosure Act, that it would be unprecedented and somehow it would go too far, we note that the proposed review board was very closely modeled on the review board established in the JFK Assassination Records Act of 1992, which has successfully guided the release of records to the American public on another very sensitive matter of high interest to the American people. And it does one more thing that we really need to recognize, and that is that there is, we believe, information and data that has been collected by more than just the Department of Defense, but by other agencies of the federal government as well. And by allowing for an outside independent collection of these records, we can make progress in terms of dispelling myths and providing accurate information to the American people.
Again, I thank my colleague and pledge to work with him and other bipartisan colleagues in the future to build upon what we've achieved in the conference report. We encourage our colleagues to join us in the further investigation of this issue and in advancing legislation that will complete what we have accomplished in this NDAA. And I yield the floor.
So we're talking about multiple whistleblowers giving years of testimony with allegations of criminality by defense contractors who are in possession of biological remains and UAP material. Whatever you think about the origin of UAP, this is a very serious issue that is not going away.
The government to obtain any recovered UAP material or biological remains that may have been provided to private entities in the past and thereby hidden from Congress and the American people.
The United States government has gathered a great deal of information about UAPs over many decades, but has refused to share it with the American people. That is wrong, and additionally, it breeds mistrust. We've also been notified by multiple credible sources that information on UAPs has also been withheld from Congress, which, if true, is a violation of the laws requiring full notification to the legislative branch, especially as it relates to the 4 congressional leaders, the defense committees, and the intelligence committee.
As crazy as it sounds, yes, this was in fact a real conversation that took place on the floor of the Senate on December 13th of 2023 between Democratic Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and senior Republican Senator Mike Rounds. This conversation took place in the wake of negotiations over the bill that they both co-sponsored, the Unidentified Anomalous Phenomenon Disclosure Act of 2023. The goal of this new legislation would have created an independent board that would have been in charge of disclosing what the federal government knows about UAP, otherwise known as UFOs. The entire conversation is fascinating and also reinforces both the seriousness and the bipartisan nature that Congress has been approaching the UFO issue for the last several years, especially in the wake of last Friday, January 12th, multiple members of the House confirming they received information from the Intelligence Community Inspector General that confirms the allegations of UFO whistleblower David Grush. So take a listen to the full conversation between Senators Schumer and Rounds from last December.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I see my friend Senator Rounds is on the floor and ask him to engage in a colloquy on an important set of provisions in the NDAA that deals with transparency, trust, and government oversight. The Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena Disclosure Act that he and I co-sponsored, and portions of which we will pass in the NDAA. I say to my friend that unidentified unanimous phenomena are of immense interest and curiosity to the American people. But with that curiosity comes the risk for confusion, disinformation, and mistrust, especially if the government isn't prepared to be transparent. The United States government has gathered a great deal of information about UAPs over many decades, but has refused to share it with the American people. That is wrong, and additionally, it breeds mistrust. We've also been notified by multiple credible sources that information on UAPs has also been withheld from Congress, which, if true, is a violation of the laws requiring full notification to the legislative branch, especially as it relates to the 4 congressional leaders, the defense committees, and the intelligence committee. So the bill I worked on with Senator Rounds offered a common-sense solution. Let's increase transparency on UAPs by using a model that works, by following what the federal government did 30 years ago with the JFK Assassination Records Collection Act. They established a presidentially appointed board to review and release these records, and it was a huge success. We should do the same here with UAPs. Senator from South Dakota, I yield.
Thank you, and I thank my colleague, the Democrat leader, for the opportunity to speak to this particular issue today. This is an issue that I think has caught the attention of the American people, and most certainly the lack of transparency on the matter, which is of real interest to a lot of the folks that have watched from the outside. It brings together, I think, a notable parallel in the withholding of information that about items that are in the government's possession regarding, in this particular case, the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. That same approach by government in terms of the possible withholding of information brings more questions and more attention to the issue of the assassination. We wanted to take that same approach with regard to how we could dispel myths, misinformation about UAPs, about unidentified flying objects, unidentified objects that simply have come to the attention of the American people. Congress did pass legislation 30 years ago requiring the review and release of all records relating to that historic tragedy, the assassination of John Kennedy, which has led to the release of a great deal of information. The UAP Disclosure Act was closely modeled on the JFK Records Act.
Say to my colleague from South Dakota, who we've worked with as a great team on this issue and many other issues, I might add, it's beyond disappointing that the House has refused to work with us on all the important elements of the UAP Disclosure Act during the NDAA conference. But nevertheless, we did make important progress. For the first time, the National Archives will gather records from across the federal government on UAPs and have a legal mandate to release those records to the public if appropriate. This is a major, major win for government transparency on UAPs, and it gives us a strong foundation for more action in the future.
I agree, sir, and I think probably the most significant shortcomings that I think we need to visit about as well, shortcomings of the Conference Committee agreement that are now being voted on, were the rejection, first of all, of a government-wide review board composed of expert citizens, presidentially appointed and Senate confirmed, to control the process of reviewing the records and recommending to the President what records should be released immediately or postponed, and a requirement as a transparency measure for the government to obtain any recovered UAP material or biological remains that may have been provided to private entities in the past and thereby hidden from Congress and the American people. We are lacking oversight opportunities, and we are not fulfilling our responsibilities.
Well, I'd like to echo what my friend Senator Rounds has said today and on many occasions. It's essential we keep working on our proposal to create an independent presidentially appointed review board that can oversee UAP classified records and create a system for releasing them where appropriate to the public. Again, as the Senator has said, it's the same method used for the JFK records, and it continues to work to this very day. It is really an outrage the House didn't work with us on adopting our proposal for a review board, which, of course, by definition here is bipartisan in the Senate. Now it means that declassification of UAP records will be largely up to the same entities that have blocked, obfuscated their disclosure for decades. We will keep working. I want to assure the American people, Senator Rounds and I will keep working to change the status quo. And before I yield finally to him, I'd like to just acknowledge my dear friend, the late Harry Reid, a mentor who cared about this issue a great deal. So he's looking down and smiling on us, but he's also importuning us to get the rest of this done, which we will do everything we can to make happen.
I agree with my friend and colleague. To those who think that the Citizen Review Board that would have been created in our UAP Disclosure Act, that it would be unprecedented and somehow would go too far, we note that the proposed review board was very closely modeled on the review board established in the JFK Assassination Records Act of 1992, which has successfully guided the release of records to the American public on another very sensitive matter of high interest to the American people. And it does one more thing that we really need to recognize, and that is that there is, we believe, information and data that has been collected by more than just the Department of Defense, but by other agencies of the federal government as well. And by allowing for an outside independent collection of these records, we can make progress in terms of dispelling myths and providing accurate information to the American people.
Again, I thank my colleague and pledge to work with him and other bipartisan colleagues in the future to build upon what we've achieved in the conference report. We encourage our colleagues to join us in the further investigation of this issue and in advancing legislation that will complete what we have accomplished in this NDAA. And I yield the floor.
So we're talking about multiple whistleblowers giving years of testimony with allegations of criminality by defense contractors who are in possession of biological remains and UAP material. Whatever you think about the origin of UAP, this is a very serious issue that is not going away.